Hey, welcome to today's presentation. We're going to be talking about the future of online search. It's an interesting time in the world of online search. You are at this crossroads where Google has lost their antitrust case with the Department of Justice here in the US. And then also you have the rollout of these AI search engines. And so this crossroads is creating a very interesting dynamic in the world of search. And so we really want to kind of explore that, what that means, what some of the expectations are here in the days ahead as to how that can really affect what online search is going to look like in the days ahead. And so we really want to give you a really good, view of what you can expect, some of the things you may want to be thinking about as you look at your own search footprint. So what we're going to be covering in our webinar today, give you an overview of this. We're going to be talking about the changing landscape of online search. We are going to talk about the antitrust rulings that have come out and Google's search monopoly and what the Department of Justice was trying to correct. We'll talk about the rise of these AI powered search platforms and then what these changes are going to mean for contractors, how you're going to want to adapt your SEO strategy. And I'm going to give you really a new terminology you're going to want to think about, and that's GEO, and that's generative engine optimization as well. So we're going to kind of put a new terminology in front of you. You may also hear a terminology called AEO along those same lines. And then we'll talk about building your digital footprint. We'll talk about voice and conversational search. I'll do a live demo about creating AI optimized content. We'll go through some practical takeaways, and we'll have some time for Q&A. And so we'll make good use of your time. We'll take probably about 40 minutes overall. Going to be a good steward of your time here and get you on out of here because it is the middle of the day. And so I want to take good care of your time today. So let's roll into this. If you're new, you don't know who I am. My name's Carl Willis. I am the CEO and founder of Remodeling Marketing Team. I started marketing online back in 1997 in the days of dial-up. My first online business, I started selling vases on eBay and have authored the Internet Marketing for Home Remodeling Company's book. And we also recently authored the AI Tools for Home Remodelers book. You can download both of those actually on our website. You don't even have to buy them on Amazon unless you just want to go spend the money. Created the Marketing Classroom. I'm an international keynote speaker on business growth and lead generation, and widely accepted as the go-to expert in internet marketing for home remodeling businesses, and have worked with companies across the US and also internationally. So that's my point of expertise. And just to give you some additional perspective of why this is an important topic, this is what we call the remodeling company marketing ecosystem. This pie here is all the pieces that come into play when you look at dominating the local marketplace. What are all the components you would have in your marketing system or your ecosystem? Well, SEO is the number one component in that pie. It is the foundation, if you will, of your marketing ecosystem. And so it is super critical. And so what's happening in the world of search is going to be very critical to the health of your business, the visibility of your business, and to really the future steps that you make in getting your business out in front of your prospective customers. And so we just want to make sure you've got a good foundation to work off of, that you're very aware of these changes that are happening in the environment, because you are at such a unique crossroads with what is going to happen within the legal environment for Google, and then what is also happening in the technology realm as it relates to Google as well. And so, as we get into this, let's talk about this changing landscape. The digital world is shifting fast. And so these recent antitrust actions against Google and the rise of the AI driven platforms in particular, Perplexity AI has been out there for a while, but Search GPT was rolled out about 3 weeks ago. And I don't know if you've had a chance to play with it. I'll demonstrate that one to you here later in the webinar. I'll also demonstrate Perplexity to you as well. But they are creating new dynamics in search and really changing the way that a homeowner is going to do search and the behaviors in the way that they are going to conduct their search. So for you as a contractor, this means that your current strategies may not actually be enough to stay competitive, but it's also going to bring about some new opportunities for you to connect with homeowners in smarter ways, to really come after them in some new fashions and at some new angles that maybe you've not considered before. And that's really what we want to delve into in our topic. So let's really break down for you the antitrust ruling and Google's search monopoly. Most everybody that I talk to has a love-hate relationship with Google, myself included. We love the fact that Google can put us in front of a lot of people. We hate the fact that we are absolutely at the mercy of Google. So right now, Google is in the middle of their second core update in the last 3 months. And for me, as a marketing company owner, I am watching search metrics just move all over the place. And the bad part about that is, for you as a local home remodeling company, as a contractor, myself as a local business owner, we are at the mercy of whatever Google does. We have no say in the matter. We don't get to fight back against Google's decision. If Google makes a move in their algorithm and it harms our business because it kills our website traffic, we don't have any recourse in that. And so what's happened is, because Google has been responsible for about 90% of search traffic, and when you look at all of the other platforms that Google holds, so Google has Gmail, Google has YouTube, Google has Google Ads, Google has Google Maps, Google has Google Local Service Ads, Google Local Search, the Google Voice Search, Google Shopping Ads, you know, all of these different things, Google Workspace. So when you start to look at all of that, Google really controls, in some cases, whether a business wins or loses. And that was the concern of the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice felt like Google had too much power and controlled too much. And so their lawsuit against Google was they were accusing Google of monopolizing online search, that nobody else really had a fair opportunity to play in that arena. And so in 2024, earlier this year, Judge Mehta, kind of an interesting last name, ruled that Google's practices constituted a monopoly, and that set the stage for some major changes. And so the implications of this are potential breakup of Google's business units, and then new opportunities for alternative platforms. And so here's some of the remedies that have been discussed is breaking up the different business units. So breaking out, YouTube, or breaking out the ad platform, or things of that nature. But one of the other things that's really been discussed is breaking out the default search agreements. So what you may not be aware of is Google has a default search agreement with Apple, for example. So my iPhone, the default search is still through Google. And so one of the things that's being discussed is breaking that out. So what most people don't realize is Apple has been developing its own search engine, really in anticipation of this judgment coming about. So we are anticipating that what is going to happen is that breaking out or that altering of these default search agreements on the different devices, which would mean that these different devices would not necessarily default to Google, which means traffic would be coming from many different places, not just from Google. So, what this could mean for you is reduced reliance on Google Ads and more options to reach clients on emerging platforms. Now, for a lot of you, that would be great news. And I know for us in the marketing world, we'd be kind of thrilled with that too, because Google, again, really monopolizes. They control that process. They've been squirrely with local service ads this year. They've been squirrely with pay per click. We've seen costs go up. We've seen performance go down. They have automated so much of their advertising platform. And so there are mystery clicks that take place, and nobody knows what those clicks were for. You can't identify what the keywords were. And so there's just a lot of stuff there that benefits Google, but really isn't always apparent to be in the interest of the business who's advertising. And so what this really could mean is greater benefit for the business owner because there's more competition in the marketplace. And so when we kind of carry this out, the next thing that we see happening is the rise of these AI powered search platforms. And so AI is redefining how homeowners are searching online. Now, last year and earlier this year, Google rolled out Gemini. And we saw last year Google was experimenting with their AI assisted search. And that's one of the things that has hurt traffic to local small businesses because what Google has done is Google has condensed search into these AI knowledge cards. And depending on the search query, sometimes it's not sending traffic to individual websites anymore. It's creating this knowledge card and pulling from sources that it thinks deserve to be in that knowledge card. And it's bypassing the local search results or the search results of websites that previously would have ranked for that terminology. But then now what has come about is you have these actual AI search platforms. Perplexity is the one that has been the most long-standing. You also have had the Microsoft Copilot on Bing. That's been out there for a while. But then, like I said, about 3 weeks ago, you had Search GPT come about. So Perplexity AI is conversational and it's intuitive in its answers. It's very research focused. It's a great research platform. Search GPT, on the other hand, is very personalized, very context rich in its responses. And the real benefit for the users is it's faster, it's more specific in its results, and those complex questions are answered in one step. And so, unlike traditional search engines, These tools are going to deliver direct, context rich answers instead of just a long list of links. And that's why users like these things. For example, if a homeowner searches average cost of a bathroom remodel, they might get a detailed answer in seconds rather than having to click through multiple websites. So these platforms are actually designed to anticipate and meet the user intent, which is changing how clients are going to find and interact with contractors. It's a much different experience for that end user. So here's what this change means for contractors. And here's some of the key shifts that you need to be thinking about. Well, first thing is greater competition in search visibility. So competition is going to increase as these new platforms gain traction. That means that you're going to have to be thinking about how competitive are you in the overall search visibility, not just on Google. So, historically, what we've thought about is how well do I rank on Google? Well, now we're going to have to think a little broader than that. The second thing is, secondarily to that, is that traditional SEO strategies aren't going to be enough. You're going to need to have content that is optimized for AI. And the term that I want to put in front of you when we talk about optimizing for AI powered search is the term is topical authority. And so when you're thinking about AI optimized content, what we're really talking about is you need to become a topical authority on the subject. So if we're talking about kitchen remodeling in Dallas, Texas, you need to become a topical authority on that topic so that AI recognizes your relevance. The easiest way to really grasp this is I always encourage people, you have to think like a machine. And so if a machine is trying to assess who is the greatest authority on this topic in this location, what's it going to be looking for? And so you want to become the topical authority in that vertical, in that location, in that niche, in that particular topic. And so optimizing for AI powered search engines is going to require that you create highly relevant, informative content that directly answers the user's questions. And so one of the things that's going to be critical is knowing what are your customers and prospects actually asking, doing deeper research, not just speculating what they're asking, but really knowing what they're asking and then addressing those questions directly. And then finally, you need to make sure that you're getting reviews consistently, that you're creating that social proof, that you're able to document your relevance, your authority, again, being that topical authority, your digital footprint across social media, review sites, and directories is going to play an even bigger role in establishing trust and credibility. Again, you have to think like a machine. The machine is going to look at things and say, if you are the authority in your market on this subject matter, then there should be a lot of validating evidence in many different places. There should be reviews, there should be social proof, and it should be in many locations. And so, again, you want to think like the machine if you're going to win the AI optimized search contest. Now, how do you adapt your SEO strategy? Well, you still have to think in terms of traditional SEO, you've got to think about keywords and what are people searching for, but you've got to transition that. And so you want to focus on high quality, question driven content. So create content that answers homeowners specific questions, like how much does a deck addition cost in Dallas, Texas? Or how much does it cost to put a car wash shower in Houston, Texas? So you want to get very specific, question driven, high quality, and the more detail you can add to that, the better off you are. You want to broaden your online footprint. So be thinking social platforms, review sites, directories, build a strong presence across platforms like Yelp, House, Facebook. Those are going to provide extra touch points for AI driven search to pull data about your business. So when we started seeing the rollout of AI search, we began to reverse engineer where is it pulling its information from? How is it making its decisions? And that's one of the things we noticed is it pulled heavily from social platforms, primarily Facebook and LinkedIn. And then we noticed it pulled heavily from House, Yelp, and Angie's. And so you want to have a presence on those types of platforms because that's where the AI is looking. Again, you have to think like a machine. The machine is thinking, where could I find the most information about a home remodeling contractor to validate that they are the authority in this location on this topic? And so the more you can create presence on those platforms, the more AI is going to be able to connect those dots, those data points. And then thirdly, you want to be sure you are optimizing your content for voice search, which is becoming increasingly popular. Many people are talking to their phones. Many people are talking to their home devices. And now with the AI searches, with Chat GPT, with Perplexity, you can now talk to your AI and it will create and craft for you using a back and forth dialogue. And so you're going to have to get very adept at creating and crafting for voice search because voice search is a lot different than keyword search. It's more fluid, it's more natural, it adds a lot more content and complexity to the level of search. And so it's more dynamic overall. And so you want to be thinking in terms of a natural conversation in crafting your content. Now, when we talk about building your digital footprint, that is your presence across multiple online platforms. In fact, think of it as the sum of all the places that a homeowner can find you. That's back to this idea of the ecosystem, the wide net, the spider web. Where are all the places that homeowner can run into your brand? The Google business profile, Yelp, House, social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram in particular. And then look at those platforms and how visible are you? How consistent are you in those places? So one of the things that I see many contractors make a mistake is they may have a presence on those platforms, but they never touch it. So it's not just enough to have a page there that you only touch once every 3 or 4 months. If you're going to be present, you've got to be present. You've got to participate. And so it's a place you're going to have to invest in developing your brand and be active, because again, you are creating topical authority, and that's what these search platforms have to see, that you are an influencer in your community, in your niche, in your industry on that particular topic. And consistency is key. Your branding, messaging, and information all need to align across all of those platforms. And then remember, reviews, and I just can't stress this enough, play such a major role here. And you've got to leverage those. And we're going to talk about that a little more as we go, but you've really got to leverage those reviews. Above any other piece of content out there, reviews carry some of the greatest weight in influencing the search algorithms, whether it's traditional search or AI driven search. And so you cannot sleep on asking for reviews and utilizing those reviews. Now, back to voice and conversational search. Voice search is growing quickly, thanks to devices like Alexa and Google Home. Roughly 40 to 50% of search is now voice activated. And so it is important when you're thinking about adapting your content to the rise of voice search. You want to use natural language in your content, because homeowners are going to use questions like, who's the best contractor near me? Or what's the timeline for a kitchen remodel? And so to capture this type of traffic, you want to ensure your content is written conversationally with answers that reflect how people are actually talking. So FAQs are a great way to start optimizing for voice and conversational queries. In fact, include FAQs that address common homeowner questions. One of the things we like to do in every piece of content we write is we like to have an FAQs section in every piece of content. So every blog post, we like to have an FAQ section. We also like to have a key takeaways section, and we do that for this purpose. It optimizes for mobile and voice enabled devices. It has those quick nuggets that those devices can pull and incorporate into their search results. Now, let's do a quick demo here, and we're going to just create AI optimized content, and we'll use this sample question here. How much does it cost to remodel a bathroom? And we're going to craft a blog post with an FAQ section that answers that query with clarity and depth. So I'm actually going to switch out of the presentation here for a minute. And we're going to use two of these AI search engines to do that. So we'll start with Perplexity here. And Perplexity will just ask, how much does it cost to remodel the bathroom in Dallas, Texas? And you can see it's pulling all of that information up. So basic remodel, the mid-range remodel, high-end remodel, it's giving us factors, return on investment, and all the sources it pulled that from. So now I'm going to tell it to write a blog post. And so now it's going to take all of that data and it's going to write us a quick blog post. And so this is the kind of content you would want to be putting on your site. And then we're also going to want to uh, tell it to write an FAQs for this post. And so now it's going to do that as well. And so now we would put all of that content together onto our website as a blog post. And now you have some AI optimized content. Now we'll do the same thing on Search GPT. We'll show you how this is going to work. So we're going to use Search GPT to do this. And Search GPT is kind of interesting. So you search the web. And this is how their search engine works. And so they've pulled their sources. So now they've created their search. And so we can unsearch it and then we can tell it the same thing. And same thing, it'll write an article for us that is now going to be AI search engine friendly. And you can see it's writing a little different kind of article than Perplexity did. So a little different flavor. And then we could tell it to do the same thing. We could ask it to write FAQs just to make it even more AI friendly. And more search friendly. And so what you're doing is utilizing AI to feed the AI. And so that's one of the things that you have available to you as you put that together. So let's let that finish. We'll go back into our presentation here. All right. Get us into the right screen. So you got my notes there. I can get rid of those. Stop that for just a second. And then I'll bring us back in. Oh, wrong screen. I apologize. I am traveling today and not on my normal system. All right. So we took a look at the live demo there. So we crafted a blog post. We crafted an FAQ section that answers with depth, answers with clarity. We included cost factors, material options, tips for ROI. And so, what we want to do is when we're creating AI optimized content, we want to get really deep. We want to get really clear on the things that we're doing so that we can make sure that the AI recognizes us as a topical authority. And that's, again, I want to just reiterate that terminology, topical authority. Topical authority is what these AI search engines are looking for. Are you a topical authority on that particular topic? So let's get into some practical takeaways. So here's some of the takeaways from our session today. Number one, you want to stay informed about the changes in online search. That means, number one, you've got the Department of Justice getting ready to meter out whatever is going to be their retribution on Google now that this monopoly ruling has come down. Here's my prediction. You now have a change in administration. Google actually was a supporter of the opposing candidate to the incoming administration. And so I have a feeling that the Department of Justice that is going to be metering out the um, retribution in this case is going to be a little harsher than it would have been originally. So my prediction is they are going to break up the search component. I think Apple is going to go ahead and release their search engine as part of this. I do think you'll see components of Google broken out. And so, what you've got to start preparing for is a multi platform digital presence. One of the things you need to keep in mind is Bing is the primary search engine behind Chat GPT. So, you want to start paying attention to Bing again. We're starting to see a lot more Bing searches when we look at Google Analytics and Microsoft Clarity for analytics tracking. And so make sure that on your website you're using Bing Webmaster Tools, not just Google Webmaster Tools, and make sure that you're showing up equally as well on both platforms. Focus on creating high quality, relevant content, leverage reviews and social proof to enhance your credibility. Stay informed about the changes in online search because everything is evolving. The rollout of Search GPT is definitely huge. It's going to definitely change the landscape more. The prediction is next year that Google's search volume may drop upwards of 26%. So that's kind of an interesting figure that came out in one of the search engine journals here about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so it'll be interesting to see if they're correct on that. So be sure you're building a broad digital presence across all platforms just to make sure that you've got good coverage everywhere. Create high quality content that matters to specific homeowner questions. Leverage those reviews, leverage social proof to establish trust and credibility. And then by taking these steps, you're going to be better positioned to succeed as search continues to evolve, regardless of what that looks like. So with that, let me open it up to any Q&A, any questions. And that doesn't have to be just about AI generative search, just any questions about adapting your strategy based on some of these changes. This could be about AI platforms, SEO, voice search, or anything else we covered today. All right. Doesn't look like we have any questions. So, with that being said, I'd like to invite you to schedule a free strategy session with our team. And if you need help figuring out how to position yourself during this session, we'll review your current online presence, we'll identify opportunities for improvement, and we'll help you adapt your marketing strategy for the future of search. You can book that here at the link on the screen, remodelingmarketingteam.com/get started. And look forward to talking with you soon. Thank you for joining us today. And we will have a replay of this on our YouTube channel here in the next few days. And we appreciate you tuning in with us, and feel free to pass that link along to anybody you think would find this helpful.